Now, the rest of the story.
All right, welcome back. You guys know where you're at and what you're watching, so let's just get right to it. This video is actually some leftover footage that I took from first cutting. Well, it's actually first cutting made around the time we did second crop hay, but this is first cutting pasture grass. And this is down in one of our pastures, and some of the steeper, probably the steepest cutting that I do with the disc bind. If you actually watch the tires in the right spots, you can actually see the tires are actually sliding down the hill. But I want to talk about the feed issue and the lack thereof of any real feed yet this year. We are well past second crop. Some people are already got third crop up and under shelter. We have not done our third crop yet, mainly because it's not doing anything. Our new seeding, our older hay strips, our hay from last year plus our pastures, they just really are not performing. I do not know if it's from compaction because it was wet when we made first crop. I do not know if it's from too much heat, not enough heat, too cloudy. There's a lot of different excuses. I don't want to call it excuses. There are a lot of different theories that I've been talking to the neighbors and friends and family, and everybody seems to have their own opinion. We fertilized after taking second crop off, and to be completely honest, that fertilizer has been really lackluster. It really hasn't shown much in the tonnage yet. Now, we are getting a bunch of rain. This week in particular, last week was really nice. It was, dare I say, dry. Blue sky, sunny, beautiful weather. But you can kind of see, like in this video, it's cloudy out here lately, especially after this past weekend. And we've been getting some sporadic, very sporadic rain showers here. And quite a bit. I mean, it might not last for very long, but it's that sudden, hard and heavy rain showers that is, dirt moving, erosion causing. And I'm hoping that that's actually going to help this moisture we're getting here, especially after the sunlight and the heat that we had last week and going into this rain and moisture that we had the last couple days now that we weren't even supposed to have. It's awesome for the beans. I mean, soybeans, you make or break your yield in August rains. It's looking really awesome. The rain we had even 4 days ago, I was told that was good for about 15 bushels worth of yield, just for the amount of rain that we got and how we got it. We did go through, we skipped out on doing a third cutting the 1st of August because honestly, for those of you that have been here from the get-go or from the beginning of this year, we were really looking, or I was at least really aiming of making 4 cuttings this year. And second crop, honestly, it wasn't even hardly worth cutting. Third crop is coming in. If we would have cut it in August, it was actually better looking than second crop was. But just looking at how the fields look and how the crops look, going through and cutting third crop, hoping for a decent fourth crop, I think would have been a waste of time. Dad, Ryan, and I had all pretty much talked to each other about it, and we figured that it's in our best interest to leave this stuff sit. So we didn't make third cutting the 1st of August, and we're actually going to wait until the first week of September. So instead of cutting after 4 weeks, we're going to let it go 8 weeks. The disc bind is set up and ready to go. The baler needs a little bit of attention, basically just routine maintenance. But the plan is to go through and cut everything that I just cut, like in this video. Pastures, waterways, obviously our new seeding and our regular field ground, and try to make as much hay as we possibly can. We did grow our herd. Our herd is actually growing a little bit more from the sounds of it. It will be growing this fall to a certain degree. We do have, feeder calves coming up, and I do have a line on some calves that I'm aiming to pursue this fall. But cattle prices actually tanked. There was a fire out in Kansas, or was it Nebraska? It was a Tyson facility for processing beef, and I believe the cattle markets, live cattle markets, were down. Limit down the first day, possibly the second day. To be honest, I haven't actually checked the prices today yet. I usually don't watch the cattle prices, but it's one of those issues where we're not going to be selling cattle here for probably another 8 to 10 months yet, and it might make it into a little bit of a buyer's market if the live cattle prices are dropping. Hopefully feeder cattle prices drop here going into this fall. Cautiously, let's just say I'm trying to be positive. So also, we are trying to make as much hay material as we can. If we don't need it, just because of the current feed situation around the county, I don't really know if you'd call it a very good indicator of everything that the current feed situation. But a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but I'm saying there's a lot of CRP, the conservation program, where people are seeding their farms down to grasses and everything else like that and taking it out of grain crop production. But they actually opened that up where you can go through and harvest. I don't know all of the details. I looked into it a little bit here last week, but just because of everything we got going on, I didn't pursue it. Plus the fact that the place that I was going to call, somebody had already beaten me to the punch. So I'm not really too broken up about it, to be honest. I mean, the way our grasses and our third cutting that is coming up, especially with this rain here, because August is typically a dry month, I'm thinking we're going to have a pretty acceptable third crop. We do have a lot of shed space yet, like a lot, but for the way things are looking, I think we'll actually get the last 4 sheds fairly full. I mean, the one shed, if we don't put anything in it, it's really not the end of the world, but trying to take advantage of maybe this hay market next spring, like the last 2 years, where I have said in the past, hay prices typically, if it's been a long winter or if it's a wet spring and people can't quite get out and either let their cattle out in pasture, or if they can't get out and make early hay, early grass, just feed in general, it tends to reflect in the local hay market. So definitely kind of seeing that going into next year, because we had a lot of winter kill on alfalfa last year, and for this time of year, just a couple years ago, grass prices, like the stuff that I'm making right now, this stuff ran between $50 and $70 a ton. That doesn't seem like too bad of a price, right? I mean, it's high enough, but as of lately, the price has actually softened a little bit. But last week, 2 weeks ago, hay price, grass price, the stuff that you're seeing me make right now, if I would have loaded this up onto the trailer after we got done baling it and took it to the local hay auction, it was running for $130 to $150 a ton. That price is down. It's down around 100 to 120 the last I checked. But I'm not really looking to sell anything right now because we have to make sure that our own cattle are taken care of. But looking forward to next spring, if we can put up every little stitch of grass that we can, and if we're able to sell 2 or 3, 4, 5 loads next year for X amount of dollars, I mean, I think you're crazy not to, right? And if we can't sell it, if the price drops and it's not really worth our time to sell it, it's feed. Our cattle numbers are on a gradual, steady incline, and I imagine we would still use it eventually. So I didn't really get to talk too much about the tractors. I know looking at the corner post in the 76 isn't exactly ideal, but I set this camera up just kind of quick and on the fly, just so I had kind of had something I could reference back to doing some of this pasture grass. The stuff is thick, the stuff is heavy. We did go through and ted it and everything, and that rhino tedder, that saves hay. That saves a lot of hay. It makes a lot of better quality feed too. So it looks like I just got done. So loving the 7600. I would actually take another one if I had the option. So, all right, I think that's the end. Well, that is the end of the hay making video. There are going to be at least one more set of baling hay making videos to come, plus corn fodder this fall. So, with that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for riding along. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. And as always, now you know the rest of the story.